What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Pygame tutorial video. In this video we're going to just continue on what we were doing, and we're building our CX freeze script so we can convert our Pygame into an executable. So we've completed all of our options, and now we're ready to just do the last few things that we need to do. I'm going to go ahead and bring my text a little larger again. And now after options, we can put in a couple more things here. You can also put in version and stuff like that, but we're just going to make this pretty simple. So we can add a description if we want, and for that I'll just say Slither game tutorial, and then we're going to say executables equals executables, and that's it for our CX freeze setup. Also, we need to add a comma here. I forgot my comma. Add that, and that should be everything. So now we've got our CX freeze setup completed, and now we're actually ready to run the procedure. So let's go ahead and save the setup.py, and now what you want to do is you want to navigate your command line, your terminal, whatever, to the directory of our script. So here is where we are. This is the setup.py file that we just created. Here's our images, and then here's the actual Pygame that we want to convert. So again, we can just double click on that and we can play it, but it requires us to have Python and Pygame installed. So we'll go ahead and quit that now. And so what we're going to want to do is bring our command line here. Now if you're in Windows, the easiest thing you can do is come over to the directory. So in this directory is where this stuff is. So you can go to that directory, hold your shift key, right click, and then say open command window here, and that's going to open up your command window right where you want to be. Now this first line is really long because this is like hidden away, and in fact just so it's like more clear, I'm going to go ahead and take this, I'm going to move this to my desktop. Whoops. Well, let's copy it to my desktop. That way that open file isn't going to give us hell. So we'll close out of this, and I'll open up this. So this is where we are. So again, I'm going to do the same thing I just did, only this time it's on my desktop. So I'm holding shift and I'm going to open the command window there. That way I have a little bit more space so you guys can see what I'm typing. So now on Windows, what you're going to want to type is either Python setup.py build. So we can do that. I'll hit enter now, and that's going to go ahead and start the build process. So we're running build and all that. It might take a second, especially if you're on like 32-bit. It might be really slow, but that's it. We've got the build done. Just as a quick aside, if that didn't work, if it said like Python's not like a command, then you want to give the full path to Python. So I'm using Python 3.4. So where's that located? Well, if we go over here, hit C, I see it's C Python 34, and then what actually is Python? It's right here. It's Python, right? So, and we run that, and that's actually like a Python application, right? So, if it says it's not a register, that means Python's not on your path. Let me move this out of the way. It says Python's not on your path, so then you would do C:/ Python 34 Python setup.py build. Okay, so just in case Python is not in your path. But it wasn't my path, so that's all hunky-dory. So now, when we go back to our directory, we see that we now have this new folder called build. We'll click on build. We'll click on this folder again. If you're on 32-bit, it might look a little different, but anyway. And then we see we've got a bunch of crap in here, but if we scroll down, here's our Pygame tutorial. So now we can click on this. It brings up, this time it brings up a console window, but this is not a Python console. It's a gametutorial.exe is what we just clicked on. And here is our game. We can press C and we can play it, and we can have a good old grand jolly old time. So now what you could do is you could zip up this game, and you could share it with your friends. You don't even have to zip it up. You could just send them all of these files. It's not really that big. For example, this file is, give me the numbers. Come on. It just doesn't want to give me the number for some reason. There we go. Wow, this one's actually huge. So it's a massive game. Probably because of all the packages it's holding in here. Like, let's see how big TCL is and TK. What a huge thing. Okay, for some reason we're packing in SciPy here, and NumPy. I don't think we use SciPy or NumPy. Looks like those are the largest things being sucked up in this game. But anyway, the other thing that we can do as well is we can come over to our Slither game. And remember how we did build here? The other thing that we can run is we can build a Microsoft installer. So I'm going to see if I can get away with deleting our current build. I can. Cool. Now, instead of Python setup.py or setup.py build, what we can do instead is bdist_msi. And now we'll run that, and it's going to run a fairly similar sequence that we did before. This one might take a little bit longer than the original, though. Wait for it. I guess while we're waiting, you can just keep in mind that what I've created here, I'm on a 64-bit machine. That means that this is a 64-bit installer that's being made. And so that's great, but what about the 32-bit folk? Well, to do that, as far as I know, the only way you can do that is you have to be on a 32-bit machine and build your distribution. So just keep that in mind. So now we have our build, and then we have our bdist and all that. Yeah, that's good that it's empty. But then in here we've got our typical executable. But we have this new file, and it's dist, and we click on that, and we see that we've got Slither, and that's our game, and this is actually 55 megabytes. Not huge, but for the simplicity of our game, that's kind of comical. Anyway, we can double click on that, and that's going to open up like an installer. So this wants to install Slither to see program files Slither. And then, you know, the user could hit OK, next, and all this fun stuff. And now it's going to actually install Slither on my machine under the program files. Run through it. So we did that. Finish. And then we can come over, see program files, Slither. And here's our Slither game, so as you could probably recognize it. That way you're not sending something like a big old zip and all that. But anyway, they could click on it and they can play their little Slither game. So that is how you can distribute your Pygames. All of your friends, show them how awesome you are because you make games. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully everyone's got it working. If you might find that some things don't work, chances are fonts can give a little bit of trouble using sysfont. Sometimes it's better to use an actual font, give the full path to the font. Like in Windows, for example, I want to say it's in like C, maybe Windows, and then fonts. Let me organize here. I think that's how, yeah. So C, Windows, fonts, and then here's where you have like all of your fonts. So you can give the full path to your fonts, and that might be a little bit better of a way to share because this will build these fonts. So if someone doesn't have these fonts, it might cause trouble, but for the most part, CXFreeze is relatively well updated, but yeah, sometimes you're going to come up with some weird errors. But anyway, that's it. Now you can share your game with all your friends. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.